Welcome to the UNPC Tour, the plant city no one talks about, the stories, the people, and the side of town not everyone knows, the conversations that happen long after the sun goes down. Around here, we believe Plant City has its character, its history, and its moments. We're just the ones bringing the microphone.
Hey everyone!
What's going
What's
on, folks?
up?
Episode 6 of season 1. We made it halfway, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Heck yeah. For those of you that have been listening, we are halfway through our season. We keep saying we're going to do 12 episodes with the reserving the right to change that, but we are very excited to be bringing you episode 6 tonight. And what we're talking about this week is boomerangs. We know that a lot of folks grew up here in Plant City and leave at some point and then ultimately come back. So for those of you that can relate, we've got actually 2 boomerangs on our podcast today. Bill and Cody have left and they eventually came back. I will say I'm a Floridian boomerang. I left also. And so I know that feeling of growing up somewhere and just wanting to get out. But we're going to unpack that a lot today and talk about like why people would even want to leave this amazing town, but draw them back or maybe not. We'll see.
But first, we're going to lead off with our reoccurring segment of the week, the most UNPC post of the week. Let's see what's happening in. This week on our amazing Plant City word of mouth forum, we have someone who posted about a data center saying that Plant City currently has one approved within the 410 acre business park near Knights Griffin Road. Project includes a lot of megawatts of data alongside 3.4 million square feet of industrial and cold storage space. Whilst Plant City's manager has denied broader plans, residents remain highly engaged regarding industrial expansion.
I feel like you guys would be better able to explain this. I feel like I'm kind of like the general public. I'm not educated enough to really have an opinion on that. Do you guys know more about like what all that entails community-wise and just infrastructure-wise?
Pitchforks and torches.
Burn it down.
Build it or to take it down?
Water usage.
Yeah, I nerd out too much and I do know quite a bit, but I'm curious about everybody else's opinion before I go on another one of my tangents.
Another explanation. Cody has the real background. I mean, okay, I'm going to be honest. I work in technology, so I know a lot actually about data centers. I don't know about that land or what it's zoned for. That'll be Cody being able to chime in. But here's my perspective. A lot of folks love using AI, but they don't really have to ever think about what powers all of that computing. And the reality is we are going to need these things if we want to keep scaling AI. But there's a huge but. It brings a lot of resource and power to what it takes to do and run those things today. And I'm trying to like make this as simple as possible, but like the water thing is legit. It does take a lot of water to cool the mechanisms that create that energy. It also sucks up a lot of energy. And like to really, really nerd out, I think what will happen is they are working on quantum computing. If you read about AI and technology, they say that that will be the way to empower AI in a more sustainable way. I have a lot of hope for that technology, but the reality is like we are far away from that today. But our AI usage continues to grow and climb. So, you know, I'm one of these people where like I actually don't want one near me. If you lived here this winter, you know that our wells out in Antioch ran dry. When we think about the city water it would take to power something like this, I also think there's a little fear of what that could do. And also like there's so many things with the unknown. But also to like nerd out too, I also think that there's solutions in the future where we could all have little mini data centers on our houses. That technology is actually rolling out too, and that would I would actually be more of a fan of, right? If you think about like the folks that lived before electricity, nobody wanted like you know power and electrical fuses on their house. They probably were fearful of that technology back then too, right? But we all need it now, and it's something we adopted, and it's how we've been able to grow. So, yeah, that's my perspective. A little long-winded. I'm taking a note from Cody, uh, but
He's rubbing
You're
off on
eating up my
you.
time.
tell us about the Plant City. Like, I don't know. Tell us about that land. I know it's close to where we live, so I am. Well, actually,
Yeah, it
I
is
live
very
down the
close.
road. I'm fine. I'm in the historic
A
district.
couple episodes ago, you actually referenced that intersection. That is your one of your pain points for the traffic, and I guess a data center is better than a subdivision on that land, but that land is just really quite a mess. The family who currently owns it, I, as you guys know, I go to the city commission meetings, and I was actually at the city commission meeting where this rezoning and annexation got approved, and I thought it was really cool that the current owner of the land had talked to any neighboring landowner that would listen to him. And he just kind of laid it out, hey, we're putting these warehouses here. There's going to be a railroad spur. There's going to be all these things. That's coming, whether you like it or not. But I'm reaching out to you to ask, what do you want it to look like from your property? And so there's a lot of people who got berms or got ponds or got some combination of trees to block that view. That's a positive effect on the immediate people, but the people who live on the same power grid a mile away or share the same city water from that new water tower they built on the side of 39 right there on Wheeler, those people get the negative effects of a potential data center if one were to come. Right now, there's a thing that Tampa Bay Business Journals a while back. The landowner is suing a developer who intended to buy the land and has now decided, no, actually, we don't want that. So the data center fears are not invalid, but exaggerated. If a strawberry farmer is not going to develop it himself, your likelihood of a data center popping up there overnight is about none. Doesn't mean that there can't be one in the future. This frenzy got whipped up so big on the internet, the city manager actually released a statement on one of the city Facebook pages about it, just really shooting it down from his perspective. But we were talking about this before we started recording. Some Plant City codes are written so vague and loose that I don't think we have any code right now, anything in the municipal code that prevents a data center from coming. And before 2018, 2019, we talked about the alcohol ordinances in downtown Plant City, and it was not alcohol sales were not banned in Plant City, but they made the criteria so difficult it was almost impossible to open an establishment selling alcohol. And if Plant City really wanted to not have a data center in their city limits, they could potentially take that angle now and make some just wild restrictions, like your data center can't be over 3,000 square feet. Like, yeah, we'll welcome any data center that's the size of a small business, that's the size of a dollar store. Bring your baby data centers, and nobody's going to. So, like, that's one way the city could get around it. But that particular property is such a mess right now with the legal battles that are coming in front that I don't think there's going to be a data center there in the next 5 years.
I thought at one point, Cody, that you and I had talked about, did they pass like a water usage law or something like that? Or maybe somebody had posted about it?
I don't recall that. But with the drought situation that we're having now, I know there's like water restrictions in place for sprinklers, like in neighborhoods. So my HOA, if I was the type to live in a community that would, or if I was allowed to live in a community with an HOA, they could fine me for having dead grass while the data center's sucking up everybody else's water.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy too.
And I don't think out there is advanced enough. I don't think they're on city water, right? They're still probably on well water.
Right now they're on a well, but
Okay.
the property has been annexed into the city, which means they are eligible for services.
Okay.
And they can they'll get the whatever power they need. They'll get water and sewer ran out there. Then I
Yeah.
mean, beyond that, they have other services that are coming with the development if it gets developed.
So even
Well,
if
I
it
keep
did, it's a
saying if we're
20-year
gonna use
project.
water out by us, I want it to be for a car wash. And I know everyone thinks we have too many car washes in town, but if you live out by us and you like your car clean and you don't want to do it yourself, it's 20 minutes and I can't stand
You
that.
got to drive it down the dirt road to get to the car wash, drive home down the dirt road.
I know. Well, yeah, thank God we paved our road. That was like a big investment we needed to make. All right, well, let's get into our topic of the week, boomerangs.
Yeah,
Everyone
absolutely.
will leave Plant City if we get a data center, and then when
And
town
then
in
they're
America
never coming back.
Come
It's gonna
back.
because then every town's gonna get one, or it'll be on your house, and then you'll come back. Okay,
at that point it's just a frisbee, not a boomerang.
right?
Yeah.
You were
So
waiting for
yeah,
that. Here.
let's hop right into it, guys. So we're talking about Plant City Boomerang. As Cody and I raised our hands earlier, we lived in Plant City and or grew up in Plant City, moved away and came back. So I wanted to start us off by talking about why everyone thinks they need to leave. And for me, I'll just reminisce for a moment. I mean, I was 20 years old at the time, so I think it was just a point in time for me that I was like, it was 2010, wasn't much going on around town. We only had, 3 or 4 smoky dive bars to go drink at. So, and that wasn't really my scene back then either. So, for me, it was just to explore. I feel like was my biggest thing, you know, just young, ready to get out of the nest. And so I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think? Is it because of a lack of opportunity or excitement of something new or simply just wanting to leave town?
I think it's probably definitely a combination. I would definitely see the sense of like wanting to explore. I'm trying to think like because I moved out when I was young, but I didn't move far. I think probably just a mix between that and just a sense of independence at that age. Like people wanted to go out and find things for themselves and find their own footing.
Yeah, that's what my daughter keeps saying. She's going off to college, and she's not going too far. I won't say what school, just so that people can't find.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
Yeah.
you're right in the middle of it, Anne, currently.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, she's like, I'm like, well, when like maybe you'll graduate, you'll move back home one day, and she's like, I'm never living in Plant City again, and I don't I'm like, what do you mean? Like, of course you would. Like, there's so many benefits. Like, you'd be near me, and you borrow a house.
All
Um,
right. So right now
no,
we're going to go and say it. Season 25, when she moves back, we're putting her on the podcast as a living boomerang.
perfect.
Absolutely.
We are guests of the week.
It would be like
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
7 or 8, something like that.
Yeah,
Hopefully, I don't know.
Yeah.
right. But in the meantime,
I
all
did.
she has to do is have her friends come visit because she thinks that downtown's so great. So who knows?
You're pulling her in early. If she's going to be getting a job here in town, she's going to understand how cool the people are, and you're just knocking the boomerang out of there before it has a chance to leave.
I know that's the funniest part is she like literally has to drive back to go to work. So
Yeah, she'd.
Like, daily boomerang.
Well, see,
Yeah.
and for me at the time, I wanted to get away from people that I knew. So when I moved away, I was like a year and a half out of high school, going to HCC, doing my thing, and I was like, I have to get away from these people. Like, get me out of here. So ended all the way up out in Sacramento, 3,200 miles away, and I wouldn't change it for anything, but it's definitely a drastic change.
My timeline was a little bit sped up. I moved out of Plant City my senior year. I was like, I'll graduate with these fools, but I don't want to hang out with them ever again. And I didn't go nearly as far. I went to the thought metropolis of Brandon, Florida. But it was kind of like I didn't really hang out with people my age in high school anyway. So I had no reason. Like, it's like, oh, I'm tied to these friends. I had like 1-2 friends my age, and I'm like, I'll hit them up on their pages or whatever. But I don't want to be out here. Like, I grew up in Durant, and the cows and the phosphate mines and the dirt bikes. That was all fun. But I was like, I have to go be an adult now and make money. And I was not going to make any money, you know, working on a farm. At least that's what I thought at that time. Now look at me.
And then
But
here we are.
Now
then
you're
didn't
back.
you stay for a
That's
I
the
while,
real
right?
ring.
I will say when I first left, because you're so used to your bubble, right? Everybody, no matter where you live, is used to your bubble. So I moved all the way out there, and I remember I think I was backing the car out of the driveway, and I was leaving for work, and the neighbor was outside. So I gave him the friendly like wave, and it was an older man, and he just stared at me. He did not wave back. And I was like, "Did I do something wrong? Did" Nope, they just don't wave. They don't wave out there,
The crotchety old people are crotchety old people no matter where you're at.
no matter where you're at, yeah.
Yeah.
So, that was a realization moment like, "Oh, I'm not in Plant City anymore."
Tap your heels together.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't
So,
cowboy boots. We didn't come back.
dropped my cowboy hat, looked up somewhere else. Um, so this next thing I wanted to ask was, I guess it's very for me, I'm already thinking it's very perspective based, but what opportunities do you guys currently think Plant City lacks for younger adults?
I mean, I think professional jobs for sure. I mean, that's unless you own your own business or you work for a bank or, I mean, there's just not like big industry like here that would draw a lot of professionals. So, I mean, but the reality is that it's easy to commute to Lakeland or Tampa and you can still live here. I think that's the part that I don't understand. And I think there's also just for the young people potentially just still like not enough to do. But I think there's plenty. But
Socially.
yeah, I think that's probably
Yeah.
a little bit more what it is. Like
I
night
think
things like that.
I think that's the biggest one for me. I mean the career thing, it's kind of tough because like we had Hillsborough College or HEC, depending on your age. Like we never had a lot of for furthering education. So like I went to school for like graphic design and I was gonna do that here. So I went to school in Tampa. But now we have the Rick Lott Technical Center to where there's this school is trades focused. So there's a springboard to a career. We have the workforce partners that's helping get kids to work right out of high school without even getting any type of technical schooling. So we have those opportunities that, I didn't have at my age. Phil probably didn't have at his. But I think the one thing that's carried on through the decades is that lack of socialization. I mean, I remember being a kid and going to like Skateland in Brandon or going to the Regency in Brandon to hang out because there was nowhere to hang out for kids in high school back then. And I still feel that's the same way.
Yeah, we hung out at the movie theaters here in town. That was the only place to really congregate as well. And it's yeah, I would agree with you. Nowadays, I would feel like there is more opportunities for younger folks, but it also depends on what they want to do. So there's plenty of warehouse jobs where you can go right out of high school. It might not be everybody's ideal job for forever, but you can go make decent money doing those jobs. You might work overnight or late nights. There's plenty of places to go get your CDL if you want to drive trucks. We have, like I said, all these warehouses that they built. There's plenty of, I feel like, opportunities, but it's not going to be maybe the most glamorous job, and they may feel maybe slightly judged by their peers.
I feel like too, like Anne said, we have so many big surrounding areas that obviously have way more like employers. I think maybe the market's a little less competitive because there's more opportunity there for people to like young people coming out that are green to go and find something that they can get their foot in the door at.
Yeah, I also think like I'm thinking back now like I don't think downtown Tampa is far from Plant City, but now I'm thinking back like before COVID, I had to be in the office in downtown every single day and I at the time don't I mean, we didn't move to Plant City, right? Until after I started working from home. Like it was a very methodical choice. Like, oh, working from home now I can move to Plant City. Like that was like the decisioning sequence. And so, I guess there's a little bit of that. You want to be close to work and, I mean, with traffic too, people think it sucks. So
I think it's a almost I feel like it's a rite of passage for people to leave, like, they need to go prove something. Because I remember when I first moved back in 2017, I was still on that hype of, like, transitioning back to Plant City, and people are like, "Oh, how was it?" Blah, 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 so I'd fill them in, and then I would be like, "I definitely recommend leaving, even if you do come back." So I've been talking, I guess, about the Plant City Boomerang for the last 10 years, but I'm like, definitely leave, grow as a person, and come back. I feel like that's kind of the ebb and flow of living in Plant City if you grew up here.
I think too, like going off of that, just like kind of proving to yourself that you can do it. Like you can go out completely on your own, not know anybody, not have any connections to get a job, be like, yeah, I just rebuilt myself from scratch.
Yeah, and I think that's beyond Plant City, though. I think it's probably just an age thing or a generational thing too. Like at that time in your life, like you're either going to be the type that stays in the nest forever or get pushed out of it, or you're going to be the type that's like, nope, I'm going to go fly, I'm going to go soar, I'm going to go see things, I'm going to experience things, and I'm going to continue to evolve as a person.
yeah. Well, I mean, and I experienced that when I left Kissimmee. I went to UF. I thought I would never move back to Kissimmee, and I didn't. I will say, like, the town I left was actually a real not nice chill. It was a shithole. So I did never go back, but I did leave the state at some point. We left the state because again, like for career, I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to leave Florida to like really have a better agency and marketing job. And the second I left, I missed it and just like felt landlocked and realized that state income tax was not the most fun thing to have to pay. And, could not wait to get back to like feeling, like I could be in what was familiar as far as a state goes. So I'm glad that we picked to live near Tampa. But it is that like you do have to like grow and learn. But I do think that there's enough that draws people back here when you're thinking about where you want to raise your family. I think that's the other thing is like there's this dynamic of like if you don't have kids, maybe this is not the most adventurous or fun place to live, but you know, I think that that's the element that a lot of folks probably think about.
You never really leave Plant City, you just stop having a Plant City address.
I mean, I don't know about that. I was pretty checked out of Plant City. Um, when I left, I was not. There was no reason to come back. Like I said, I didn't really have any friends out here. I went on to do my computer stuff. I was DJing. Like I was doing all these things that Plant City wouldn't accommodate anyway. So there was no reason for me to come back. But I I can't even think how long it's been. 12 years, 14 years that I've been back, and I only came back out of, I don't want to say convenience, but it was way more convenient to move back to Plant City.
Yeah. You can take the guy out of Plant City. You can't take Plant City out of the guy.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, there was, I guess, for me, not as many, but there were definitely some kind of reality checks when I did leave. Like I said, I didn't go as far as Phil, but there were definitely things I missed, but obviously not enough to come running back right away. But I think there we talked about the things we like about Pine City in other episodes, and the people, the community was kind of a common theme. And I I didn't have that in Brandon. I didn't have that in Tampa. Like I I'm trying to think. I can't even remember. I had one neighbor, and I, just being the immature, childish person that I am, I'm kind of made fun of his appearance, and that's the only thing I really remember about him. It's just his stature. But like I remember my neighbors growing up in Durant. Like I remember Miss Henson. I remember the Blunts. Like I remember all these people. My neighbors in Brandon, just one guy made fun of us. Oh, there's a weird guy across the street. And then my neighbors in Tampa, I was in apartment complexes the whole time. So it's just like people came in went all the time. And so like, you know, there's a community here in Plant City that I think was kind of like an eye opener. And at a younger age, I didn't really think about it. And just like Phil, you've learned that, people might not be as friendly in Sacramento. I'm sure you learned a lot, when you
They
would go away,
ain't
like you
gonna
have any
wave back.
experiences?
Yep, they're not gonna wave
Yeah.
back. That's for sure.
And Anne, I mean, I don't think I think you're a Kissimmee Frisbee. I don't think you're ever going back. But
Yeah.
like, I'm sure there was probably things for you too. It's probably a little different too, because you were doing what a lot of people do, and you leave your hometown and you went straight to college, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So there's probably a lot of things that you maybe realize about Kissimmee that you're like, wow, we don't have that in Gainesville, or we don't have this in Kissimmee.
You have to realize too, I grew up in a very, very, very poor area.
Oh, gotcha.
So that had a lot to do with it too. I knew that my parents all along said, like, don't, like, do better, and so that also, like, played. I think that has a lot to do with also, I think, why people leave and maybe don't go back to the towns that they lived in because they, like, grow and, that played a lot. And the place I'm from in Kissimmee is still, like, very impoverished actually, so.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I know about like it's some of the things I missed. I didn't know I missed until I moved back, obviously. So it was like after like people I grew up in. I went to the nursery at a local church, and I grew up with in the community and stuff. And it's like I still see those people nowadays, and they're like, "I remember you when you were knee high to a grasshopper," And I was like, I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually did kind of miss that because when I moved away, nobody knew who I was.
The southern charm of it.
Exactly.
That actually kind of brings up a good thought or a question. That you just talked about what you missed, but like when you moved away, what did you not miss?
It felt like because when you're a young person in this town, at least back in the early 2000s, it feels like everybody's watching you. You're the focus of everybody, whether it's your parents or your friends' parents or your church group or your basketball team. It's just like all eyes are on you. So it's like when you when you get out of here, you're like, there's I can do whatever I want.
No one knows you. You're, like,
Yeah, that small
incognito
town stuff.
mode.
Yeah, yeah. You're like,
Yeah,
nope. Judge me if you want. You don't know who my mom is. I don't care.
You're right.
right. Yeah, mine just because I guess I've been a degenerate since birth. Like, I don't know what was going on in Plantain City in like the late '90s, early 2000s, but we all knew the Plantain City cops were the worst. They were just really, I wouldn't say like abusing their power, but really flexing their power. Like if you looked like you might be up to no good, you were getting stopped. And I just like remember like speeding down 60, like in the middle of the night, do like 75 miles an hour, right in the middle of Brandon, like not even questioning it. I'm like, this is crazy. Like I would have been beaten and taken to jail in Plant City. And I was like, but then that comes with that was the whole blending in. Like Plant City was much smaller than it is now, and Brandon was smaller, probably not much smaller, but you kind of blended in a little bit more. So like in Plant City, yeah, somebody knows your mom. Oh, I saw Cody speeding in his Camaro, and my dad's gonna be waiting for me when I get home. And like the Southern charm that we love, I at that age of my life, I was glad to get away from it.
I feel like what you both just said is you guys moved away so you could be rebellious and not have consequences. That was my
Exactly.
takeaway from that.
Exactly. So on
Yeah.
Cody's story too, I'll try to make this short. Someone I know crashed their truck into a strawberry field of somebody in Plant City. And then long story short, they got the truck out, blah blah blah, minor damage, whatever. The dad made the son go apologize to the strawberry field owner for damaging his crop. I'm like, that's that is something that is like that wouldn't happen if it was a different town, you know?
That's Plant City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that
That
seems
first line is
thing to me.
that story started like the beginning of a country song.
One night I ran my truck off the road into a field.
Phil, you grew up here.
No.
You were here from basically 0 to 20, or in this area anyway.
Yeah, so even though I didn't attend I went to middle school and high school in Riverview. I went to Tomlin for 6th grade, and then but we were still coming up here on the weekends and still attending church. So we were still like a big part of the community. And back then it was the Optimist Club. So I was still here for basketball, things along that line.
So like when you left and you went to Sacramento, which is basically the same thing as Plant City, did you like have some like nuances about Plant City like that you brought with you, or some habits like, hey, you know, this is my kind of my routine, or this is the kind of things I just do every day, and you brought him to Sacramento and people are like, what is wrong with this guy? Or, oh man, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, see, my neighbor, I tried to wave at him and be all neighborly, and he didn't wave back. So I was like, oh, cold stone after that, you know? I was like, he's not getting anything out of me anymore.
But did you have any interactions like that with anybody else out there that was maybe not as terrifying?
Yeah, I think it's, the biggest thing I took with me was probably like a little bit of the southern twang I took out there. And people are like, "You're not from here, are you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm from way far away."
Did you call people sir and ma'am?
I did. Yep, I
And
did.
that's not normal out
I've
there.
been I forget what state I was in, but I was somewhere and they thought it was rude to
You were
say
up north
ma'am.
Because you were calling
because
them
it makes
older
women
than
feel
you.
older.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, my intentions are the complete opposite, ma'am.
Not
Just
anymore.
double
Now I'm
down,
gonna
double
make it
down
Yeah,
on
right.
it.
sweetheart.
I mean, growing
Oh,
up on a
bless your
farm
heart.
actually got me
Yeah.
my first job out there too. So, I mean, that I guess that helped in a way.
When you guys left, was it always your plan to come back or did that just kind of happen?
I mean, I was gone for 7 years. So for me, most of those 7 years, I did not plan on coming back.
Really?
I had no plans. Um, my my like I said, I came back out of convenience. I was living in Tampa, and I was picking up my kids from J.S. Robinson out on Turkey Creek every day, and I worked overnight, so I was sleeping for 3 or 4 hours after work after taking them to school in the morning, getting up and then driving a half hour to pick my kids up from school. And then my wife got a job out here, so then she's driving a half hour, 45 minutes each way to work every day. And the only one who's really benefiting from this was me, who lived 2.2 miles from his job. It's like, this really isn't fair to everybody else in my house. So that's when we decided to make the move out here and start looking out this way. And I'm glad I did. I don't know, maybe even if it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would have come back. Honestly, I probably would have just kind of stuck with the life that I was living. Like we talked about how we evolve and change at that age. I was still evolving and changing, and maybe I just would have kept going in the wrong direction farther from that city.
Do you think besides like obviously new businesses or changed businesses, like what felt different when you came back? Like was the culture still kind of the same? Or was there a huge shift in the dynamic of everything
For me, it was
besides
hard to
drinking
tell.
was more available?
Well, when I came back, it wasn't.
Oh,
But
that's
like
right. You said 2019.
yeah, well, that's when the laws changed or the ordinances changed. Yeah, but so I want to say I came back in 2011, 2012, maybe,
Mhm.
and somewhere in that time. But like, um, I was so kind of like growing up on Durant, like we would come to Plant City to come to town. Like I wasn't part of the community, and I wasn't involved in things going on in town. So for me, it was almost like moving to a different town. It was almost like I moved to a town that I had visited before.
Like starting
Like
over
I knew where certain
completely.
businesses were. Like I knew where the Walmart was. I knew where the movies were. But like it's not like, oh wow, I remember this restaurant, or I remember these people that lived over here. So for me, there wasn't much of a culture shock. It was just kind of like taking in a new place.
That's so interesting because of how opposite that is for you now.
Yeah, I had a conversation with this today about the life that I live now and how I'm still not comfortable with it.
I
What
know
about for
for
you, Phil?
when I first moved back, I think like it took me 5 days, moved back, drove all the way back. And then I woke up like the day after I got back and I was like, I need caffeine. And that's when I found Crazy Cup because I just went on Google Maps and I was like, coffee. And I was like, oh my God, we have a coffee shop in downtown Plant City. Holy smokes. I was over the moon. So I went down there and I remember sitting there drinking my iced mocha, and I was like, "Oh, life is good today. I just moved back. I don't have a job. Who cares? Everything's fine." But I ended up working there for a few years. But yeah, and then I went around and I revisited some of the old stuff. There was a couple restaurants that I grew up going to. I won't name them because unfortunately they weren't as good as they were growing up. And I don't really want to throw them under the bus, but I will say, I went to the Hungry Howie buffet and I was like, "Yep, still the same." Shout out to that best Hungry Howie's North America for sure.
I wonder too, like when people leave, like you know how like the stigma when people leave and then they want to talk crap about their hometown. Have you guys ever had somebody around the same time frame do that and then like quietly just move back and not say anything? Like kind of tuck their tail between their legs and come back home?
I've been back long enough to see multiple people leave and come back, and then but like when they come back, they're not like, "Oh, I'm back." They're like, they just show up, and you're like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? What are you visiting?" They're like, "No, move back." Like they kind of keep it a little hush hush because maybe they're embarrassed, and I'm sure there's personal reasons and things, but yeah, you see a little bit of both. Some people come back, they're like, I have this crazy job. I work from home now, went and got my degree, whatever, lived in the big city. And then, but then you do get the people that are like, "Oh, I didn't do so well, came back, family issues, whatever." A little mix of both.
The good and the bad, yeah.
Good and the bad, yeah.
I
You
feel
know,
like
it's
a lot.
funny as I
Oh, go
go ahead.
ahead.
There's a lot of people that I've been dealing with lately. It's just kind of this weird time, I guess. But like, I've had a few people in the last month or so who moved away and came back to visit, and they're like, yeah, we're having all these problems where we live, and we didn't have these problems where we lived." And I was like, yeah, yeah, the grass isn't always greener.
Nope.
And
That's what I was just gonna say that. You stole the words out of like literally
yeah,
I was thinking you see the comments too, right? In all the Facebook groups, people are always like active in these groups who have moved away and they like vocally say all the time, like, I miss Plant City because of X, because they just like think they want to leave and then you do and you miss it. That's how I felt when I left Florida in general, right? Like again, like I felt like, oh, and I didn't appreciate it until I left, right? So sometimes you have to take a move to really understand and know what you had before. Someone who just boomerang back to their company. I left for 3 years. I yeah, similar. I mean, I'm a real big fan of the boomerang. I've hired a couple boomerangs to my company since I've gotten back, and I came back. I think that if you've left Port City and you're listening to this podcast and you really miss it, come back. Come back. Like we want more people around town that love it.
unless you're
Um,
coming back to talk crap,
yeah, don't do that. No more
yeah,
doing that.
stay away then.
We
But
Go
just
guys,
did
talk
the
crap somewhere else.
Plant City's full. What are you guys talking about? We don't have any room for them.
yeah, we
Oh, I did see that on the internet. Yeah,
It was
just
such an
newsflash.
aggressive comment.
So many L's.
well, as far as, where are we going, right? So like for the people who have decided that they want to stay, right? What makes them stay here, right? Like what are those types of things that you think like okay, Chuck is a perfect example, right? I think he left and came back, but now he's been here for a long time. You guys just met him on episode 3. Um but like what gets people to stay all these generations? What
A
is it?
Target, and DoorDash. No, I'm kidding.
I
Kidding.
feel like
Was
Target
he
should be our first sponsor. Target, if you're listening, we mention them a lot.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is just comfort. Like this is familiar. Like some people just don't have that desire to go leave and explore and see new things and new places, and home is comfortable and it's safe. Why leave? And Plant City's always been a great place, so why why leave something good and go find out the grass isn't greener?
Yeah, I also think there's this element where, I mean, for people who never even want to leave, like, it's funny to me because, like, I just talked about how bad it was in Kissimmee, but I hope they're not listening actually, but, like, I still have friends that
I hope
never
they are.
yeah, that never left, and they still, like, I saw them at my high school reunion, and they were like, "I now live down the street from my mom," and they just, like, got married, had kids, and yeah, and I'm like, I mean, there is this, like, level of comfortability in what you're used to, and if you're a person who doesn't like change, I mean, I think that has a lot to do with it, but I also think, like, now if like, I hope that my kids and again, this goes back to Julie, like, wouldn't it be great if my kids went off to college and then they decided to come back? Like, I would love that. I feel like our town has a lot to offer. It's okay, forget the murders, but it's relatively safe.
The
Relatively
unsolved
safe.
murders.
That
Yes,
was just a
forget
phase.
that was a domestic dispute, so
We just had one last week at a Plant City
we don't
nightclub.
know, but we don't know because there's no
That was not in
we're
city
gonna
limits,
drop
friend.
that'll be a whole separate episode, the murders. I think we need an episode on those, but, like, there's a lot and maybe we will have a target, and that'll get Julie to move back. Who knows?
That was just a
I think
joke. That was just a joke.
I think part of that too is like this is a great place to raise a family.
Yes.
I think like moving back here with my kids, it's definitely probably better for them than if we would have stayed in Tampa. But I think depending on where in your life you're starting a family, you might not ever have time to leave. So you might stay, like you might leave high school and be like, I'm ready to get out of here, and I'm taking my long-term partner with me, and then now there's a baby on the way, and we know that this is where we wanted to raise a family anyway, so we're gonna not leave to go explore. We're gonna just skip that step and get right to raising kids, and we're doing it here.
What do we think the one thing that the town could do or our city could do that would make people who, like, want to make this their home feel more at home?
The city, as in the government, and the city, as in like our community.
Our community. I like how you get all political, but yes. No.
Well, just because I talk about the city as the city of Plant City a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if it's really anything that our community can do, honestly. I mean, we're not, you know, trying to chase people away. I mean, we're not friendly on the internet, but I think the internet has never been a friendly place. But I don't see us really causing problems. You going to these new communities and doing donuts and tearing up people's grass and having all these problems. I think part of it is that the people who come here, I don't want to put it on them to be like they need to go out and explore more, but I don't know how much more the community can do to be like, come see what we got, like the businesses, without like spending just a crazy amount of money to try and draw people in on a maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're new here like me, right? Like I feel like what would make everyone feel like more that this is home is a little bit of you know, more welcoming downtown of talk about new places, right? The new development or like I just moved here. Sometimes it's like that old versus new, which we talked about in episode 2, right? I feel like there's a little bit of that in mind
I think
from
it's
my
like the
perspective.
split, like we've been saying, like you have the people that are super welcoming and super arms wide open, and then you have this group of people that just want to talk bad about it, but also don't want to leave. So it's like, where do they actually fall? Like maybe that's just character over reality
Right.
and that line there. Yeah.
Okay, last 2 questions and we're going to do back to back. Okay, what is the one thing that would make you leave Plant City? And then what is the one thing that would make you stay right now? Like top favorite either way.
Make Me Stay would definitely be like the charisma and, like we said, like the town charm, like good old Southern grit. Make Me Leave would probably be the data center. Just
That was my answer, dang it.
is
All
there
That was my
radiation
legit
in the data
answer.
center?
I will make it make even less sense because I'm going to have the same answer for the Make Me Stay and Make Me Leave,
The
and that's the
data.
growth.
Ooh.
So the people that we have moving here are great. I'm not a fan of the way that the growth is happening geographically. I think that we could have done a little bit better with that. But I think that we do have a lot of great people coming to town. We do have some interesting people who are interested in our city. And I love that part. But I live on a road that's almost wide enough for two cars to pass each other. And my neighbor across the street has 22 acres. The neighbor next to him has 22 acres. The neighbor next to him has 40. Like, we all have our space. And if my road starts to get developed and I start to lose my space, I'm going to go look somewhere else for space. Like that. So the growth would, if the growth got to where I live, because I tell people all the time, my house is my escape. I don't want to have people hang out here. I want to get away from all the things here. And if the things come to me, I'm going to go somewhere else where the things aren't.
Yeah, that kind of ties into how I would feel too. What would make me leave would be like crazy unmonitored growth where it just gets super chaotic, super hectic too quickly. And like just tossing a data center too. Why not? But what would keep me here would be like a healthy, steady growth with slowly modernizing, but keeping the historic past that Plant City has. So keeping the same feel, adding some more amenities would keep me here. But if it just like blows up into Tampa or something like that, I wouldn't be really interested in this phase of life in staying.
All right, what's keeping me here? I mean, this sounds like so cheesy, but it's like you guys and all our other friends that I love so much. I talk about it all the time, but like I have my 9 best friends that I've had my whole life, and then I have my Plant City family. And that's my friends that I've made here. That's what, and the it's, you know, I think that again, like only in this town do you make such good friends so quickly. So that's what would keep me here. I think what would keep me away, or like what would make me move, um, is if real estate tanked. That would be that would be an out for us. And then I am tempted to live on the beach one day. So if I can retire as well as I'd like to, I will be living on a beach.
All
There
right.
you go.
Yeah.
We love the ambition.
Yeah, but you guys could come with me.
Perfect.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have that. I'm gonna need that in writing, please. Or
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. I think that, what we've landed on is that Plant City may be the place that people can't wait to leave to experience new things, but it also has this way of pulling everyone back.
Seems like some people
Absolutely.
can't wait to come back even after a month.
Mhm.
Well, I hope to our listeners you come back next week for episode 7. As we keep going down season 1. If you have suggestions, if you want to reach us, if you have questions, if you want to be on, if you have an idea, email us at hello@unpctour.com, and you can follow us on Instagram at unpctour.
I do have one more thing. We are seeing your guys' comments on YouTube and on Spotify, and we're loving them. And I'll own up to the fact that I'm doing a bad job responding, and I'm going to work on that. But we do appreciate the feedback and the engagement, and keep it coming.
Wait,
Woohoo.
who let Cody be the one who responds?
I can't even read.
We'll get back to you guys on that.
Yeah. I might get banned from Spotify and YouTube.
Bye, guys.
Good night, guys. See y'all
We'll
later.
see you guys. Thanks so much.